Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. And for those of you still a little fuzzy, it is so bright up here, you can't see anything. For those of you who are a little slow from last night, good morning. I'm Libby Mahaffey. I manage the Corporate Incident Response and Life Safety Group at SunTrust.
SDLC Enterprise Tools area. I'm the manager over that area. There we go.
Awesome. And where am I pointing? Down there. Okay. Oop, backwards. Just a little bit about SunTrust. A lot of this is going to be pretty much a continuation of the panel on my part. SunTrust is the 8th largest bank in the nation. We're headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. We were founded in 1811. We have over 26,000 employees, 2,000 branches and locations. We have 61 critical locations. And how our process works for corporate incident response, when we have an incident with IT, they pretty much handle their day-to-day outages. And there is a process set up for them because things happen, as we all know in technology, things happen on a day-to-day basis pretty much. A system goes down, online banking goes down, something happens. So there is a process set up for them that they pretty much handle that without getting corporate incident involved. When it becomes a major event, impacting critical processes, we're down for hours, then this is the process that we implement. And basically, it's not just IT. As they were saying on the panel before, it could be a man-made disaster, natural disaster. But the very first thing that we look at in an incident, in a major incident, is life safety involved. Our teammate safety an issue. And if it is, you can see I won't go down through all of this, but we activate our life safety teams, site manager teams, and of course xMatters to send out the alerts. It's already an incident, so we look at what is the how did it impact our business operations. We stand up our corporate command center, and we get all of the right people involved. We'll send out a notification, and everyone immediately gets on the call for us. We have status call updates. If it's an outage that goes on for hours and hours and hours and hours, then we have status calls. So we don't keep people on the phone for hours while our IT guys are stopping the bleeding from what's going on. And of course, the incident response piece, we communicate to executives. And then we look at, is it impacting our business continuity? Do we have to activate business continuity plans? We, again, get our business segments and functions involved. And then we look at, okay, has it impacted our data centers? If it has, then we do our failover to our backup data center. And of course, at that point, then we activate our crisis management plan. A little bit about our life safety. As I mentioned, we have 61 critical locations. What constitutes a critical location for SunTrust is if there are 50 or more people in that building. Are there critical processes impacted or at that location with 1 to 3 day business recovery time objectives? Does it have a trading floor? Does it have a call center? And then, of course, our executives. Right now in my program, I have over 1,500 volunteers in those 61 locations, and we cover over 60% of the population at SunTrust. I have 550 people who are certified through American Red Cross in AED, which is an automated external defibrillator program that we have. We actually have 60 AEDs in the program in 45 of those 61 critical locations. 550 people trained in that CPR and first aid and AED. And to date, right now, from our incidents, our major incidents, we've had 61 events, and 13 of which were considered major. That's 21% of the events that we have, that we've activated our corporate incident response plans. And then from corporate incident response, we facilitate the major events, meaning that, again, we contact all the right people. We facilitate the remediation of that event. We also, this year, we used to have local incident response managers in our 9 divisions. And through the ever-changing world in our businesses, they no longer had those incident response people in the division. So we took on at corporate those local events that I think some panel members were talking about, your one branch that was affected. So now corporate is involved in those types of events. And obviously, we coordinate recovery. Communication, as Wayne said, this is the biggest thing that we can do. Communicating to our local division executives, our corporate division executives, and all the right team members, people on Daryl's team, that we need to contact during those critical technology events.
So, again, my name is Daryl Scherr. I actually am the owner of the xMatters application. So we do have the BCM and we have the IT organization. My team has been using it for about 2 years now. We implemented it. We went from an old system. We are on an on-premise solution. I have 12 teammates that actually cover this space in there. One is mainly focused on the xMatters. I'm across the country. We support across the country and globe, but most of my teammates are in Atlanta, Nashville, and Tampa. We did go, it says on here that we're going live on xMatters from on-premise to hosted on 9/25. We're moving that out just a little bit for, because we're trying to get some other things going in. After all the information that I've seen over the last couple of days, I have a lot more things that I want to add to that plate, so it's actually kind of cool on that. I actually was texting my boss yesterday that I could integrate with Dynatrace, so I'm very happy about that as well. We do have about 2,000 incidents a week, and that's an average incident that covers our P1s to our P4s. We have about 650 of those that are what we consider a P2 event. The P1s, we have maybe one a week-ish every other week. But in the process that we have here for the P1s, we have actually divided it into two categories. We actually have the P1 that actually comes from the ticketing system through NetCool and through ICDs through xMatters. And the other side of the house, we actually send it to 217 of our executives. That keeps them aware of what's going on, and to Libby's point, we actually provide updates on it. It's a short, brief message. It gives them the incident, it tells them what applications impacted, where the impact is, and when the next time of recovery. So we're short and sweet on it. Again, moving to the cloud, so our process, and I've actually been dealing with Amy Aycock for a couple of years now. It took us a while to improve the business case on it. That has been probably our biggest struggle, because going from an on-premise solution to a cloud solution, what do you do? What benefits are you gaining? One thing that we were actually talking about outside is, I had to do a cost-benefit analysis. I had to move. I'm on 4.1 right now, and we had to either move up to 5 and do a bunch of customization to add all the business, what we need, or I needed to move to the hosted. When we started looking at and comparing our costs, what it's going to cost me over the next 3 years, it made sense, business sense for me to move to the hosted solution, and that's where we're moving forward to. Again, it was a long, hard process, but the management didn't understand and had to explain to them what was going on. But when you start putting numbers behind it and saying, this is what your servers are costing, this is what your people are costing to support it, and when we started looking at that, and today we have the Dialogic cards, how many do I need? And I'm going to start increasing my overall how I'm going to communicate. I'm going to need more of those. This is a cost that I have to have. When I can go to the cloud, it's much easier in the solution.
How do we define a major event? It's a critical process, a business process that can't be recovered within its recovery time objective. There are incidents that have financial, reputational, and operational impact. A lot of, again, this is a carry-on from the panel today and the panel yesterday, but reputational risk is becoming more and more apparent to us. You find all of these, we see stuff go on Pastebin about vulnerabilities and things like that. And although it doesn't impact us, but if our name is dropped out there, then we have to respond to that. Natural man-made disasters, loss of life, and basically it comes down, can we provide our core services to our clients? In our incident response process, what happens is we activate our command center, we stand up our bridge line. There are predefined participants from the business segments and corporate functions. We have a DL and xMatters that can go out to them and immediately, as I said, get them on the phone with us so that we can start the remediation process. We send out executive communications. We have status update information going out. We compile information. We were talking, again, the panel before, talking about winter storms. We had 11 named winter storms that impacted our footprint last year in the first 10 weeks of the year, and 2 of those weeks we didn't have a storm. So we basically handled 11 storms in 8 weeks. A lot of hours put in by my team during that time. And then the process just keeps repeating itself until it's remediated. Whether it's IT critical, an IT major event, and or it's something else. I'm not going to obviously walk through this either, but this is just a process flow of how it happens. The main one is straight down the middle. Again, how is it impacting us? Is it major? Are we communicating? Are we standing up the command center? Is teammate safety involved? And as stated before, communication is everything during an event for us. So all of the things that we use for our communication, again, the bridge line, when we have a major event, that bridge line stays open the entire time. No matter how long it lasts, we keep that bridge line open so that people can call in and provide information to us. We send a quick bulleted email to our executives just to keep them informed and keep them up to speed. We also send out our leadership bulletins to the other leadership within the business segments and functions. We also have a what we call a DINS page, Disruptive Incident Notification System web page. So we have a lot of, especially corporate functions, that depend on us to tell them what locations are closed, what open, who's opening late, or who's closing early. So and we just moved that over to a SharePoint site, which was really helpful. And then sometimes, especially during those reputational events, we have to write talking points for client-facing teammates so that if a client calls in and asks them a question about, oh, we saw this vulnerability, then we give them the information to provide to the clients. These are just some examples of some of the events that we've handled, and I know a lot of you will recognize these. Hurricane Sandy, very, very impacting to our footprint. Anthem, all of our employees are on Blue Cross Blue Shield, so that was a major event for us. For those of you in Atlanta, and I know you guys talked about this, snowpocalypse. Anybody hear about snowpocalypse a few years ago? Devastating. Mm-hmm. We had employees that were on the road over 24 hours. We had employees that had to abandon their cars and go to strangers' houses or people that lived close. We had employees that their children had to go to strangers' houses because the school buses couldn't get them home. Very, very trying event for us. We had an incident this year where a dead body was found on an adjacent property of ours, and oh my gosh, you would have thought an employee had been killed on our property. Major media attention, a lot of employees were very nervous at that site, so that was a crazy event. Hopefully we won't have to ever deal with anything like that again. Active shooter in Chattanooga that happened a few months ago. We actually had 3 locations that had to go on lockdown that were within a half a mile of where those 2 shootings happened, where the active shooter was in 2 different locations. And then, of course, as you guys mentioned on the panel before, the riots have been, not just the riots, but the protests we have had to monitor on a daily basis. So we have found some websites that provide us information when they do post it. This was during Baltimore, our main office in Baltimore. This is what it looked like the whole week. We had armed National Guards surrounding our building. We have 126 employees in that building. Can you imagine going to work every day and that week? So it was very trying. It was a very scary week for us. This event itself had our executives finally in tune to what we do. and how we do monitor and how we are helping and have employee safety at the top of the list. Oops, going the wrong way. Uh-oh. Samantha didn't get on this one. I did have some slides I wanted to show you at the end. We got here late on Wednesday because we were able to do, oh, there it is, thank you. We were able to do a major exercise. We worked on this for 6 months with the Atlanta Fire Rescue with our property manager. This was Wednesday morning before I came out here. And it was our annual evacuation drill. And I wanted to do something more because we tell people in our life safety training, if you're evacuating through the stairwell, stay the right, single file. Why? Because first responders are coming up the stairwell. So I wanted to give teammates the knowledge of what that actually feels like, so that in a true emergency, again, just trying to gain the respect of the teammates to what we're trying to do. Why do we do these exercises? It's for your safety. So here are just a few pictures from that. I did stage, if you see the woman on the right, that is fake blood. It's called vampire blood. But I did stage in this. I had 5 people staged injuries because I wanted to test my life safety teams. And those people that are certified in CPR, first aid, and AED, I wanted to test them to make sure that they know what to do. Because as you guys said, when we get ARC certified, it's a 2-year certification. I've been certified over 20 years. My late husband had cardiovascular disease, and I didn't want to see him drop on the floor and me just stand there and not be able to do anything. So these guys, you get the certification, and then you never use it. And so then you go back and get certified 2 years later, and then you never use it. So my goal with these is to now start testing and exercising my AED responders. And that's it.